Alright, let's look at this problem, and it might take us 2 videos to get through it. I'm not sure how fast we can do it, but we'll see. Okay, first of all, this is the problem that was asked, and in order to look at this ellipse and find the center and the foci and the major axis and all of that business, we need to get it into the correct form. So right now it is in general form. We need to get it into standard form. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to separate out the variables. I'm moving the x's with the x's and the y's with the y's and the constants over to the right hand side. Now, we still cannot complete the square as it is right now because we have something other than 1 in front of the squared terms. So we need to factor that out first. So you see I factored out a 4 from the x's and I factored out a 9 from the y's. Now we can begin completing the square. So to complete the square, we take half of this middle term, so half of -2 would be -1, and then we square it. So -1 squared would be a +1. We have to balance that out on the right-hand side of the equation, but we didn't just add a 1 here, because remember, we also have that 4 that's being multiplied to it. So we actually have 4 times 1, which is 4, so we have to balance that out with a 4 on the other side. Now we do the same thing with the y's. We take half of the middle term, which would be 2, square it, which would be 4, so we're adding 4. But we also have to account for that multiplication by 9, so we actually added in 36 on the left, so we balance that out with a 36 on the right. Now we can go ahead and we can factor this down. So this will factor into 4 times x minus 1 squared, it's always that halved amount, plus 9 times y plus 2, again was that halved amount, equals, our 4's will cancel, and we're left with 36 on the right. Now we have it in a little bit better form, but for an ellipse it needs to be equal to 1, so we're going to have to divide every single thing by 36. And that gives us a standard form of x minus 1 squared over 9 plus y plus 2 over 4 or squared over 4 equals 1. Now, before we can go any further, this is like the key to doing ellipses and hyperbolas also. You've got to list out your a, b, c, a squared, b squared, and c squared. Gives you something to kind of keep track of things. So in doing that, we need to look now over at our equation. And if you'll remember in your equations, a squared is always the largest number in an ellipse. So for us, the a squared would be 9. The b squared would be 4, and then we have a formula that says a squared minus b squared equals c squared. So that tells us that c squared is 5. Well, if we know what all of these are, we should be able to find a, b, and c very easily, because a would be 3, b would be 2, and c would be the square root of 5. Now, I went ahead and I listed out all of the things that we have to find. So let's see if we can do that pretty quickly. For our, let's see, I also went ahead and made a quick little graph. For our center, the center comes from the equation. It is, remember, this is x minus h and y minus k, which means that our center is the point 1, -2. And we can plot that down here on our graph. I'm going to run out of time. I only have a minute left on my availability, so we're going to stop here and I'm going to pick it up in the next video.